This year marks the 220th anniversary of an invention that most watch enthusiasts will know. Abraham Louis Breguet filed a patent for his invention on June 26, 1801. The Tourbillon Regulator was designed to counter the negative effect of gravity, affecting the regularity of watches. First thing you need to remember is that at the time watches were not worn on the wrist but vertically in a pocket. Much different than today with wristwatches, which are in a different position all the time. The pocket watch was always in the same position, and thus gravity's force always pulls that fragile balance spring from the same side. Breguet's idea was to install the escapement inside a mobile carriage that performed a complete rotation every minute. He used the word tourbillon, referring to how the French philosopher René Descartes described the planetary system, rotating on a single axis. From a technical perspective, designing and crafting a fine tourbillon is a challenging and delicate art, and is often regarded as one of watchmaking's highest accomplishments. As said, the regulator of a watch needs to be mounted in a revolving cage. The tourbillon cage, that generally rotates around once per minute, is a fascinating feat of miniature engineering, with often over 50 tiny parts all weighing as little as possible. During his lifetime, Abraham Louis Breguet created 40 tourbillons, of which 35 in watches. And because of this invention, among others, Abraham Louis Breguet is often seen as the father of modern-day watchmaking. Today, the name tourbillon, which Abraham Louis Breguet gave to his invention, is known universally in the watch world. The tourbillon has long established itself as part of the vocabulary of modern horological design. Besides its technical reason of being, its captivating motion is also a huge part of its appeal. And as you would expect, it still holds a place in the choice of Breguet's collection, with creations that are both a nod to the past and a look towards the future. The imprint left by Abraham Louis Breguet was so technical and aesthetically clear that his successors have never deviated from the line drawn, while they have maintained a fascinating ability to innovate. A watch that perfectly shows that nod to the past and a look towards the future is the Breguet 1747 Tradition Fusée Tourbillon. Besides that huge tourbillon that rotates around its own axis in 1 minute, we see another intriguing piece of engineering. Coiled around the barrel that holds the mainspring is a chain, and this chain also goes around a cone-shaped pulley. This is called a fusée and chain transmission, and its purpose is to compensate for the variation of driving force or torque delivered by the mainspring inside the barrel. When the mainspring is fully wound, the torque is high, and when almost unwound, the torque is much weaker. This variation in torque affects the regularity of the watch, hence the fusée and chain transmission. Here we're looking at two historic and interacting precision-enhancing devices. The watch is inspired by the pragmatic design codes of Breguet's historic subscription watches. And like all the watches in the Tradition collection, they showcase inverted movements so you can enjoy all of its intricate beauty. Although the style is inspired by Breguet's subscription watches, of course the brand incorporated modern technical solutions. Take for instance the lighter and more resilient anti-magnetic, corrosion and lubricant-free silicon components for the escape wheel and the lever. The Marine Grand Complication wristwatch with running equation of time, perpetual calendar and a tourbillon is another formidable timepiece blending traditional mechanisms like the tourbillon and that rare running equation of time indication with a contemporary solution like for instance the peripheral rotor system and a sapphire crystal cam mounted on the tourbillon. The Marine collection celebrates Abraham Louis Breguet's ties to the French Royal Navy. After his appointment in 1815 as Horloger de la Marine Royale, or official marine chronometer maker, one of the most prestigious titles for a watchmaker of his day. The equation of time indicates the difference between solar, true time, and conventional mean time. It's displayed here in a sophisticated way. A hand following the minute hand shows at a glance how far behind or ahead the equation of time is for a given day. Technically, this old-fashioned complication is driven by a surprising modern sapphire crystal cam mounted coaxially to the tourbillon that is fitted with a silicon spring. The dial of this 43.9mm watch features an eye-catching guillotine pattern, resembling ocean waves that have become synonymous with the Marine collection. As richly adorned as the dial, the back of the movement reveals bridges with hand-engraved images of a historic French naval vessel, the Royal Louis, and a compass rose engraved on the barrel. The nod towards the future here comes in the shape of a peripheral oscillating weight, in order to keep the watch as thin as possible and at the same time allow an unobstructed view on that gorgeous movement. Presented to celebrate the 220th anniversary of the Tourbillon patent, the latest creation from the brand, reference 5365, is quintessentially Breguet. Released in a limited edition of just 35 pieces, the exact number of tourbillon watches manufactured at the time of Abraham Louis Breguet, this stunning watch features unmistakable Breguet signs, like the extremely fine Clou de Paris guillage dial and its slightly asymmetric layout. It's elegant, discreet and highly legible. The hours and minutes are indicated by the signature hands with their distinctive hollow eccentric moon tip. The 1-minute tourbillon of the reference 5365 is visible between 4 and 6 o'clock, rotating under a blued steel thin straight bridge. The caption Brevet 157 is a nod to the patent attributed to Breguet 220 years ago. Turning the watch over, this homage is repeated with the hand-engraved captions and a platinum peripheral rotor weight that is decorated with a beautiful wave guillage pattern. Last but not least, the watercolor plate for the 1801 patent is reproduced on the movement. This exceptional extra flat caliber is housed in a 41mm round case that is just shy of 7.1mm thick and features straight lugs and a fluted caseband in the typical Breguet style.